So hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. Today I wanted to do a part 2 of my most popular video, I think, the habits of highly intelligent women. And you guys, a lot of you requested a second part, so I decided to give it to you because there are a lot of things that come to my mind when the term intelligent woman is said, and it's not all about academics. I do have a video on academics, but both of these videos, I will link the first video down below. Both of these videos are not really academic, you know? It's not really meant academically. It's meant overall. Of course, there are some points, like educating yourself, having a well-rounded knowledge, but it's not aimed like academically. Before we get into the video, of course, don't forget to check out my social media links. They will be left down below, as well as a Discord group because I don't have 10K followers on Instagram yet, so I can't create a broadcast channel. But meanwhile, you can check out my Discord group. I want to be more active there when it comes to any notifications, any chats, if you want to, for example, have a say in what videos come out or no, then check that out. And without any further ado, let's just get into the video. So the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to being an intelligent woman is choosing your partner right. I personally think that choosing the right partner is one of the most important tasks a woman will have in her life. And the reason is very simple. A good relationship is going to boost you in ways you have no idea. Not that you can't flourish and succeed in life without a relationship, but having a good relationship, a good partner, a good husband is essentially gonna do a lot of good in your life. But having a good, healthy relationship is just gonna give you the space to achieve more, to turn into an even better person than you already are. And again, you don't need a relationship to succeed, but it surely helps having a good relationship. On the other hand, having a bad relationship, a toxic relationship, or just a relationship that does not serve you is something that for a woman especially can be so detrimental. And I've seen it with my own eyes, right? I've seen my friends, I've seen my family, I've seen people getting into relationships and it destroys their potential completely. Having a toxic, unhealthy relationship is gonna not only destroy your self-esteem, your confidence, it's gonna affect your health too. It's pretty commonly known that we women do have a physical reaction to toxic relationships. It destroys our mental health. And let's be honest, mental health is the building block of pretty much all of your success and all of your happiness in your life. So don't underestimate it. You know, if that person, that person doesn't have to be a bad person, but if you don't feel like that person is your person, then let it go. Let it go. Create space for your perfect person. Create the space for the love of your life. And don't just throw away your years for someone who is just not it. It doesn't have to be really bad, but it's just not it, right? And, I'm not going to go too deep into toxic relationship, abusive relationships. If there's so much help out there, I know it's hard. I know that it's hard, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can find help. There are ways. Just get out of the bad relationship, please. And also, can we please stop making it a trend online? Can we stop making it a trend that, oh, I just have a type. You have a type for being miserable? Stop it. Like, stop it. Like girls who intentionally go for bad guys and for mean guys and label it as being, a type, I can't help it. You have trauma. You have trauma, so heal that and go find a good man, or don't find a man. It's up to you. But just get away from the bad men and stop making it trendy and edgy online. It's not trendy. It's not cute. Get out of the bad relationship ASAP. The second thing is standards. Now, I already touched up on this in my last video where I was talking about saying no to things, and this is very similar. You have to set standards everywhere, whether it is in your love life, whether it is in your friendships, whether it is in your work life, whether it is in your anything, anything. You have to set standards with yourself as well. And I'm not going to go too deep into standards because I would like to make a deeper video on that. But standards are here to protect you. They're here not to they're here to protect you as well as your goals. And never let anybody tell you that your standards are too high. They are never high. They just cannot reach them. The habit number 3 that I want to talk about is highly intelligent women. They don't have FOMO, aka fear of missing out, because they know deep inside what is good and what isn't good for them. They know that that party probably isn't going to be worth it, and staying at home and getting up early and getting work done, or staying at home with a couple of your friends and having a girls' night in is probably going to be more beneficial for them. You just have to have a very strong identity to get rid of FOMO. Again, constant FOMO is linked to dissatisfaction because you're always going to have a feeling that there's something better outside, and not in a good way, not in a like ambitious way, but in like a way, I don't know how to describe it really, but yeah, just a certain level of dissatisfaction all the time. And this like uncertainty in your life that you're not sure if what you're doing is fun enough, if it's good enough. And it's going to just lead to, again, anxiety and a worse mental state. Instead, have a joy of missing out because your peace is always going to be above peer pressure. Habit number 4 is choosing their heart. So highly intelligent women, they choose their heart because essentially everything in life is hard, right? So they choose their heart in the way that going to the gym is hard, but also being unhealthy and not liking the way you look is also hard. Going to school is really hard, but also not being happy with yourself and feeling stuck is hard. Healing from trauma is hard, but living with your trauma is probably even harder. Because trust me, all of those bad habits that you are too lazy to get rid of are just going to make your life harder in the end and, unhappier. Therefore, just easily choose your heart. So these next 2 points are very linked to each other. And the next habit is loving a good challenge. Highly intelligent women aren't scared of getting, or they are scared. They probably are scared. Everyone is scared of getting out of their comfort zone, but highly intelligent women, they know that it is good for them. Now, being stressed and getting out of your comfort zone, this is kind of a tricky area, right? Because if you're someone who cares about your feminine energy, if you're someone who is very invested into your feminine energy, then these two, you're going to have to be very careful what challenges you're getting into. Because there are certain challenges that are going to be great for you. And then there are certain challenges that are going to destroy you and that they are going to bring you to a bad place. So here is where you have to kind of think, is this challenge going to be something that is going to make my life better? Or is this challenge just going to make my life harder in the end? I like stress, okay? There is a certain point of, or a certain amount of stress that everyone needs. Stress is our biggest motivator in life. It is something that moves us forward again and again. And we're probably going to have a little bit of stress till the end of our life. However, there is a certain level of stress that is good for you and that isn't good for you. But I don't think a challenge necessarily means that you have to be stressed. But as I like to say, Being stressed in the end means that you care about something enough. So it's just good to keep that in mind when you are thinking of, you know, doing a challenge or stepping into something challenging. Like, for example, studying is challenging, right? On a new job, a new career, that is challenging. That is going to be a little bit stressful because you care about how it ends, right? You want it to go well. And then there are certain challenges, like, for example, being in a bad relationship, which, let's be honest, being in a bad relationship is a challenge. It is Hunger Games, literally. That is not a good challenge. That is not a challenge that is going to move you, towards your higher self or towards the dream woman you want to be, whatever you want to call it. But in the end, the most growth a person can have is outside of their comfort zone. And unfortunately, a lot of people, if they know how, they can grow so much out of their traumas and their bad experiences, but you don't have to get into bad experiences to grow. You just have to step outside of your comfort zone. And being tied to that comes probably the biggest point of this video, the biggest thing I want to talk about, and that is brain health. So, highly intelligent women, they focus on their brain health. I feel like nobody on social media talks about brain health. On social media, we have gut health, we have, physical health, like going to the gym, cardio, your heart health, your skin health. But I barely ever see anybody talking about actual brain health. Why do you think that our generation is more and more mentally ill? Not only mentally, our attention span is worse, our mental health is declining, we have more of these cognitive and neural illnesses, which is awful. And what do you think is causing it? It is our phone. It is that damn phone. And our brain is one of the most important, if not the most important, part of our body. It is linked to absolutely everything. So why aren't we taking better care of itself? There are certain things that are obvious, keeping your physical health in check. So exercising, eating the right diet, getting the right sleep. But then there are certain other things that you can do to help nourish your brain, which of course is education, but it does not have to be education only. For example, one of the most, I think, underrated things for brain health is reading. Actually, just reading anything. And reading is so, so crucial for your brain. And with the rise of podcasts and videos and audiobooks, and don't get me wrong, I love podcasts and I love YouTube videos, but we don't read as much as we probably should be reading, and we don't get our brain stimulated as much as we should, because all of these things, they are linked to one thing, which is neuroplasticity, which essentially just means the ability of your brain to create new neural networks. I said the main things are your physical exercise, it's going to be your diet, it's going to be your sleep, but then to kind of exercise your brain, actually, we have reading, of course, and then it's anything logical, anything where you have to actually think. And, some of these can be more on the relaxing side. As I said, some reading, journaling is really healthy for your brain, not only for your brain, but also for your emotional regulation. Anything that decreases, that bad stress. So, some of the ways that I love to take care of my brain is, as I said, reading, journaling, those are going to be more on the relaxing side. And then something that I really love is crossword puzzle. It gets your brain so fired up. And if you don't like crossword puzzles, there's Sudoku, there is chess, there is Scrabble, anything that gets your brain thinking. With all this new technology, our brain just is completely laid back. Our brain doesn't have to do anything at all, especially now with AI and, with our smartphones, where our phone can basically write the message on its own. We don't even have to think, it autocorrects everything. So, making sure to encourage your brain to work out a little bit. So then it's going to be learning new languages. That is so healthy for your brain. Learning to play instruments. Math is so healthy for your brain in ways we don't even imagine. And when I was younger, I was always confused, like, oh my God, why do we even have to study math? You know, we have calculators. But the older I get, the more I realize how being able to have critical thinking and solving problems, which is really crucial in math, is just not only helpful in your life, but, just for your brain. So besides exercising your brain, of course, then there is the second part, which is your brain gut connection. So, you know, as I already said, I touched up on this, but your stomach is basically your second brain, and these two are very linked to each other. So, how you eat is going to affect your brain a lot, not only short term, like brain fog, but also long term. There's a bunch of good books on neurobiology, and it doesn't have to be like deep neurobiology, but just knowing how your brain works because as I said, your brain affects everything that's going on. So, moving on from brain health, let's get into the seventh habit, which is limiting social media. And I'm going to call myself out here because these past 2 months, my phone has been glued to my hand. Like, it's ridiculous. I've had moments where I physically wanted to like get off my phone and stop scrolling, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't. And I felt the effects of it. I felt the effect on my learning. So when I was studying for exams, I was feeling the effect it took on my physical health, on my mental health, and just overall on my attitude. And I love social media. It's such a great tool, but there is a limit. And doom scrolling is not good for anybody. And highly intelligent women are aware of that. So I took a step. I downloaded an app. It's called Refocus, I think, and it just blocks the app. And when I want to unblock it, I have to physically go to the app, set a timer for how long I want the app to be unblocked. So I set it to like 2, 3 minutes, maybe. And, I can do whatever I want within these 2 to 3 minutes. And then it kicks me out. And if I want to get back, I have to again go to the app. And, so you can, of course, use it still. But there's that extra step. And, it kind of just like snaps me out of it. But yeah, we all know the shitty effects social media has on us. And scrolling is just a waste of time. It is such a waste of time. And there are so many other things you could be doing. Even playing a stupid video game is going to be more beneficial for you than scrolling on social media. And I really have to now focus on that. So take this as your sign. If you have an issue with doom scrolling, then just download an app that will block these apps for you. And again, doom scrolling, it decreases our attention span. And then when we want to focus on anything else or study, it's so hard to get into the flow state. And the last thing that I want to talk about, and it's more on the serious side, is healing. So, highly intelligent women, they know that healing is their priority. They also know that trauma is not their fault, but it is definitely their responsibility to take care of it. And highly intelligent women, they don't let their past define them, but they work on it so that it doesn't define their future. I think that this is a very deep topic that deserves a video on its own, but there are ways that you can cope with trauma, and pretty much all of us have trauma. We have different traumas. I don't want to say that one trauma is worse than the other, but we all have traumas, and it is our responsibility to work on them. Whether it is, doing shadow work, journaling, meditating. But if you feel like it, then just go to therapy. Nobody has to know. I went to therapy and nobody knew I went to therapy. I went to therapy for like 2 years and nobody knew. Or like they knew later on. But at the beginning, I didn't tell anybody. I just kept it to myself. And I was actually diagnosed with OCD. But I managed to work through that. And, you know, there are still some things that I probably have to work on, that I probably have to heal, but I took it as my responsibility to face those things because I don't want those traumas and those bad things to affect my future, whether it is my education, whether it is my future family, my friends, or even just myself. So you just have to be, you have to put your pride aside for most people and just admit that there are things that you have to go through and just get the help, just work through it. It's a battle, it's uncomfortable, but you know, smart women know that it's going to pay off in the future. At the end of the day, intelligence is a complex thing. And, you can't define anybody, like you're intelligent and you're not, because we all have things that we essentially are good at and intelligent at. And then we have things that, are a little bit unfamiliar for us. So just take the title of this video with a grain of salt. But, it's all about self-awareness. But anyways, I really hope you liked this video. Let me know in the comments which of these habits resonated with you the most. And perhaps you can even add on, you can discuss it in the comments if you have any habits of your own that you do. And yeah, again, don't forget to subscribe and check out my social media links. And perhaps share this video. I love you guys. Bye.